Hi Sales World, Gavin Tye, Sales Market Fit. Today I'm going to share with you 5 ways you may be unintentionally breaking rapport during sales meetings, which can be affecting your ability to close deals. If you're in the world of sales, I'm structuring this channel to release content along the customer journey from beginning of interactions with you to closing a deal. So if you're in this world, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button and the bell and be notified when I release regular content. My name's Gavin Tye. I've been in sales for more than 20 years. I've been in B2B sales for 15 and in B2B SaaS enterprise sales for the last 8. And over the course of my career, I've identified a few different ways, which I'm going to share with you today, in ways that I've unintentionally been breaking rapport and have hampered my ability to close deals. So first and foremost, one of the most unintentional ways we can break rapport is how we dress. Salespeople need to dress to their target audience. I'm not saying at all that as salespeople, we shouldn't dress to feel good and look good. But what we shouldn't be doing is polarizing our potential clients to either hate us or like us. I've learnt this when I started working for a startup. Everyone in the office was wearing t-shirts and jeans, but our target clients were large enterprise organizations like water utilities, power utilities, government organizations. And our target buyers were typically men and women over the age of 40, maybe over the age of 55. Walking into these corporate environments wearing a t-shirt and jeans was just simply not appropriate. And if we were to go in there and we wanted to represent our brand, we just could not do it with a t-shirt on, because it would give the wrong first impression and potentially say that we weren't professional enough to handle their information or be a supplier to them in their world. I often see this in other industries where men and women will dress like they're going out to a nightclub, and it can be very polarizing to their target clients, where they'll either love it or hate it. And we simply don't want to be distracting, because at the end of the day, we have our words and our appearance and our conduct is what people will start liking us or disliking us. And first impressions mean everything. So let me give you an example. So what I wanted to do is give you a practical example of dressing appropriately for the audience or your target clients, or in this case, audience. If I was to give you advice on selling and wearing a sleeveless shirt, you may not necessarily be thinking or listening to what I'm saying. You were going, why is he wearing that for? That's not appropriate for the video that he's making. Now, if I was making a fitness video or a video about a guy with small arms wearing sleeveless shirts, it'd be 100% appropriate. But for sales content, it's probably not. Now, I've seen so many examples of people going into meetings wearing fantastic Saturday night clothes, like looking as amazing as ever to be going to a party, but just not to a sales meeting or for during the day business wear. I'm not a fashionista and I don't pretend to be. But what I do understand is about dressing for my target audience, because we really want them to see what we're wearing and go, hey, that's pretty nice, or that, more importantly, that's not horrendous. So in the comments below, what I've done is I've included 2 links for men, one for men and one for women, about some business or work attire. Now, a rule of thumb that I recently heard is we should not dress up our casual attire for work, but we should dress down our business attire if we need to. So maybe keep that in mind as well. So the second way we can break rapport, which is only important if you're meeting face to face, is how we smell. If meeting in person, we need to be really conscious of the odors we emit. Surprisingly, this can derail your credibility with anyone quicker than anything. We associate smell with a lot of things, and particularly bad smells we want to avoid. If you're meeting in person, this is a hard and fast rule that you should abide by today. No onion or garlic during business hours, because you won't smell it and your clients will smell it. And the worst thing in the world is if you realize about 3 or 4 hours later that you've had bad breath all day, but you've had 3 or 4 really important meetings. You don't want to create any scenario where you've left a meeting and that group of people or that person you're meeting with has gone, oh my God, that guy stunk or that lady stunk. It is really, really hard to come back from, because even if you try to address it, it makes it worse. Ask yourself, have you ever been in a scenario where someone hasn't smelt the best? How did that make you feel? Did you want to hang out with them again? Or did you want to catch up with them again? If it was a first impression, how long did it take you to get over that first impression? As salespeople, first impressions mean everything. The third way, which is a killer, is never be late. Sometimes being late is unavoidable. Maybe there's a car crash, maybe there's traffic delays, maybe you've been held up by UFOs. But where possible, do not ever be late. If it's an online meeting, try to be 3 to 5 minutes early, or if you're in person, at least 10 minutes early. And I'll give you a scenario. There was a time here when I was going to a big chemical production site, and I arrived just on time, or even 5 minutes early at the gate to do a meeting with 10 or 15 people. But I didn't account for the inductions or watching the video or the walk past the security gate until I got to the meeting. So I ended up being 15 minutes late. It was unintentional, but I was already on the back foot from that meeting. People weren't open to me. They were angry because they were in the meeting 15 minutes waiting for me, and I just did not stand a chance. And I just can't come back from it, or you just can't come back from that. It's really, really difficult, because that does not set a great first impression. If it looks like you could be late, even within 1 or 2 minutes early, just call and give them a heads up to say, hey, I'm stuck in traffic, because they will appreciate the courteousness of that call, even though you may not be late. So the fourth way of breaking rapport unintentionally is being courteous. Sales is about customer service first and foremost. It's not about pressure selling. It's not about tactics. It's not about hounding. It's not about always be closing. It's first and foremost, it's about being courteous. Today, more sales have transitioned online and through Zoom meetings than ever. If you're not courteous, people are just going to stop talking to you. Now, when I mean courteous, I don't mean saying yes all the time and being a people pleaser. Sometimes being courteous means being honest about the fact that you can't help them, or being honest about what you're seeing within their business. And sometimes saying what people don't want to hear, but always being polite about it. If you think about, if you're a salesperson and you're one of 3 or 4 people or 3 or 4 salespeople who are visiting this organization, what if these other salespeople aren't being honest and they're saying, yes, we could do it, and they're promising something that can't be done, and you come in and you're being completely frank with them and saying, hey, the way you're asking us to deliver this, I don't think it could be done for these reasons. You are far better off being courteous and polite and actually being honest in the interaction. And at the end of the day, you want to be known for your service, your customer service. And I think that's being lost in large part for salespeople today, particularly when salespeople are feeling pressured to sell. Courteousness or customer service skills are often the first skill or the first thing that they forget. So don't let that be you. The fifth and final way of unintentionally breaking rapport can have to do with working from home and meeting online. And that is, don't have a messy background, because it becomes a distraction. We must be conscious of what we have going on in the backgrounds of our screen so it doesn't become a distraction. Sometimes we don't see the mess because we see it all the time. Before any meeting, make sure you have a look at your background from your potential clients or the attendees of the meeting through their eyes to see if you can see something that you may have just become accustomed to. Also, use the appropriate background for the meetings that you're in and the people you're meeting with. If you're meeting with conservative buyers in government organizations, maybe don't have a cartoon background. It maybe presents you in the wrong light or can present you in a way that is polarizing. 60 or 70% of the people may not care, but what if in that 30% there was $1 million buyer or someone that could change your business? The attendees that we meet with in the world have their own views and their own norms that they live their life by. And what we don't want to do is be polarizing and bring them into question and potentially have them not like us, because that is not in the best interest of the businesses we're working for. Now, to summarize, generally as salespeople, we don't want to be distracting and unintentionally break rapport with our target audience. Now, if you work in the banking sector, dress for your target audience. Now, if you're in the arts sector or in the music industry, your dress sense will be completely different. Or in the fashion industry, your dress sense will be completely different because your buyers would have a different viewpoint on appearance. Be conscious of the way you smell. No garlic, no onion, period, if you're meeting face to face, because it can have the potential to give you bad breath. So in an area that can cross over between smell and appearance is in summer months here in Australia. I won't wear light color shirts like baby blue or blue, because once it gets wet and sweat marks start showing under the arms, it looks terrible. And it's completely distracting and can give the appearance that you may smell. So I avoid that at all costs, or if I can't avoid it, I'll wear a jacket even though it's uncomfortable and it'll make the scenario worse, but for that meeting, it hides those sweat marks. Third point, never be late. That leads me into the fourth point, always be courteous. Being courteous doesn't mean being yes, just means being honest and always having their best interest at heart. If you can't help them, let them know. And finally, messy backgrounds if you're meeting online. Just tidy them up, have a look through someone else's eyes before any meeting, and if you have to, use the most appropriate background for the meeting that you're in, and a blur is a great feature for that. Now, if you're having any sales challenges, I've recently joined Growth Mentor, and you can schedule a 30-minute mentoring session there with me for free. There's a link up above and in the comments below. So log on there and schedule a time, and I'll be happy to help you if I can in any sales challenges that you have. Finally, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button below, and you'll be notified of any other videos that are coming out regularly about sales content. Until then, bye for now.